Today's a very special day. I am participating in the Global Walk for the World walking meditation through the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza and his team. This is a global event where thousands of people around the world right now are participating in this. It's an experience where if all of us can tap into our heart, can we change the world, bring more peace into the world, bring more love into the world, bring more honor into the world. And for those who don't know, Dr. Joe Dispenza is a world-renowned author, researcher, and lecturer that does advanced workshops and retreats around the planet through his combination of his scientific teachings with the mystical. This combination, it seems that people are able to tap into their autonomic nervous system and have profound effects on their biology. Also be able to create objects and things out of nowhere into reality. It sounds very out there if you're not familiar with his work. I suggest going into his website and into his podcast to look more into his work because it's very sound and incredible in my opinion. But anyways, I've been doing his work for the last 2 years. I do his meditations every single morning and I'm really excited to join in this meditation. For the sake of the battery of this camera and for the sake of the meditation, we're not going to record it just because I don't want it to die. We will have a conversation afterwards to discuss our experience, because what's interesting is there's 4 kinds of meditations, the 3 of which people may be more accustomed to, or the 2. One, of course, is sitting meditation with your eyes closed. There is laying down meditation, eyes closed more or less. Then we have the standing meditation, but walking is a whole new level, you know, and the idea is like maybe potentially I'm not part of Dr. Joe's team and I'm just a really avid practitioner, but in my opinion, the idea is how can we actually train our mind and our body and our subconscious to walk as it, to walk as someone who's abundant, to walk as someone who is wealthy. But for this meditation, to walk as the example of love and truth and freedom and to be the change that we want to see in the world. So I'm really excited about this and let's get into it. All right, so it's been about 3 hours since we completed the Walk for the World meditation, and it was a new experience for me. I've never done a walking meditation before. It first started out where we were standing and listening to Dr. Joe and his guided meditation, and with our eyes closed, and then we opened them, and then he was allowing all these different things like feeling the love for the world, feeling joy for the world, also embodying those emotions as we walked with them throughout. So I was just walking around this backyard mostly, and some of the things that came up to me was things that I don't really reflect on a lot. I felt this beauty of the planet. I felt the peaks and the valleys and the beautiful mountain ranges and the waterfalls, and I actually got very emotional for a minute. And when I opened my eyes, I was walking with that in my heart. And for me, I have done his meditations every morning, and I feel like in my practice now, I'm able to really put my attention on my heart. And this was a very heart-centered experience where the whole time afterwards, or the whole time during it, my heart was just really light and full. It felt light, but also full. And yeah, it was really cool. Also, the natural thoughts of the feeling I was feeling, and then as Dr. Joe was suggesting things like what would compassion look like, and me going to work tomorrow, or me going outside to meet people that may not be having this in the forefront of their awareness, and how I can be the example of change in the world, and how inspiring that was, and how it's actually an act of courage to share this information by who I'm being with the world around me, and by me not expressing this love to people and not walking as it and living that, it's almost like I'm doing the earth a disjustice, because as this is a walk for the world, we're bringing more energy and awareness into a new planet, a planet where love is more recognized and more practiced. And for me, it was less about like the visualizations of what that looked like. It was just feeling it and just seeing what I would do as a natural result. Like I wasn't thinking of, oh, how am I going to greet this person? Like when I felt compassion, I then was the resulting act of tomorrow, I'm going to share this love. And at one point I found myself like walking up the street, and I wasn't afraid where if people were driving by or walking, I kind of wanted them to see what this state of being I was in, so they could potentially even just make their day from that, just me smiling and being super in my heart. And this also recognition of, Dr. Joe said at one point, they support you. I felt this true support from other people around the world that are doing this on this day, and that also on a daily basis are connecting to this. And to know that if certain parts of the planet, if love isn't the first thing we think about, or joy, this elevated emotions, me actually connecting to that is the best thing to do in a state where it's not. And if you look at those who exemplify this in history, like Gandhi and even MLK, they're the ones that are the change in the world they want to see. It inspired me to be myself more authentically, and what that looks like, and what does that truly feel like to walk as it. And it was great. I see how I could also just take this in my every day, because those emotions that I felt in the speed at which I walked, and what does it feel like, that's something I can totally take with me. And I remember there were a couple of times when I just had my hands out in front of me, but open, and I felt a lot of space there that I was like putting out into the world. To think that thousands were doing this around the world, and if you follow Dr. Joe's community, it's just so cool to see. And I just remember also seeing the planet in a different light, and how important it is, and that feeling in my heart now, like I can put myself there and breathe there, and it's a really beautiful experience. So thank you so much, Dr. Joe, and thank you for the team, the community, for organizing this. Everyone had their own experience, and this was certainly really special for me, even though it was just me and my friend. If you're not familiar with Dr. Joe's work, I'd look him up. You almost want to just listen to one of his podcasts or his lectures to really get the gist of it, because I wouldn't be doing him justice by, I think, making a video, because it's when you do the meditations and you live that lifestyle where you're conscious of this new person you're becoming, and surrendering to also this mystical sense of letting go to a higher power, and letting that also lead the way in an act of love. It's truly something that's changed my life. So yeah, I can't wait for the next walk of the world, and I'm gonna walk in the world like this every day. Awesome. It's a great life we love, guys.
Build the life of my dreams. Wanna go more. Why wait?